as, quote, the black face of white supremacy. All because I don't believe in the lie of systemic racism. And it is a lie. When Barack Obama ran for president in 2007, he was running against Hillary for the nomination on the Democratic side. A Mormon named Mitt Romney was running for the nomination against John McCain on the Republican side. And Gallup tried to find out which one of these four politicians had the biggest hurdle. They asked Americans, would you never vote for a black president? 5% said they would not vote for a black president under any circumstances. 11% said they would not vote for a female. 24% said they would not vote for a Mormon. 42% said they would not vote for a man who would be as old as John McCain would have been, 72 years old, had he won. So Obama had a smaller hurdle than these people. I don't know if the CNN is here. CNN had a study in 1997, 24 years ago. They asked black teenagers and white teenagers about racism. And not too surprisingly, both of them said that racism was a major problem. But then Time and CNN did this, and I'd never seen this done before. They asked the black teenagers whether racism was a big problem, a small problem, or no problem in their own daily life. 89% of black teens called racism in 1997, 24 years ago, either a small problem or no problem in their own daily life. In fact, more black teens and white teens said, and this is verbatim, more black teens and white teens said, failure to take advantage of available opportunities is a bigger problem than racism, end of quote. That was before Obama got elected, let alone reelected. Speaking of whom, he gave a speech at a black church in 2007 when he was running. And he's talking about racism. And he said, the Moses generation, referring to the generation of Martin Luther King, has, quote, gotten us 90% of the way there. 90%, which I thought was reasonable. I once saw a poll that said 8% of Americans believe Elvis is still alive. He then said the Joshua generation, referring to his generation, has to get us an additional 10%. First time he was interviewed on 60 Minutes was Steve Croft. And he hadn't yet caught Hillary yet. He was running for the nomination. But he was coming, otherwise they wouldn't have interviewed him. And Steve Croft said, Senator, if you don't get the nomination, will it be because of racism? And Senator Obama said, no. If I don't get the nomination, it will be because I have not articulated a vision that the American people can embrace. Now I'm sitting home watching this. I said, hallelujah. I don't vote for Democrats because I want lower taxes, lower regulations, strong borders, and strong national security. But at least he's going to be a racial reconciliator, I said to myself. Before he got elected, before he entered the Oval Office, I should say, I think he won with 52% of the vote in 2008. Do you know what his popularity was? 70%. Before he set foot in the White House. Many people who didn't vote for him said, okay, I don't want to vote for somebody who's tax, spend, regulate, soft on national security, soft on the borders, but he'll at least bring us together, so I'm going to pull for him. 70% popularity. And what did he do with that? The Cambridge police acted stupidly. No, they didn't. If I had a son, he looked like Trayvon. What does that even mean? Racism is in America's DNA, he said. Really? The first time Gallup asked about racism, about whether or not you would vote for a black president, was 1958. And the percentage who said yes was in the high 30s. Now only 3% said they would not vote for a black president. He invited Al Sharpton into the White House over 70 times, one of the most vicious race hustlers in America, who, by the way, is now a Democrat kingmaker. Google Al Sharpton, Democrat kingmaker. A guy who became famous by falsely accusing a white man of raping a black woman is a Democrat kingmaker. A man who was in the thick of Crown Heights in 1991 and said to Jews, if you want to pin your yarmulkes on your head and come over to my house, let's get it on, is a Democrat kingmaker. A man who was in the streets of Ferguson before 1 minute was taken, one word of testimony was taken, yelling, no justice, no peace, is a Democrat kingmaker. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Obama had a great opportunity to bring us together. And instead, because he wanted power, he wanted the Democratic Party to remain in power, he knew that if he played the race card and got 13% of the black vote all upset about social justice issues, not going to talk about schools, let's not talk about streets, safe streets, let's not talk about whether or not I have a job, let's talk about racial justice. That's what the party is all about. And he divided this country. I'm going to be a uniter when I become governor. I'm going to use my bully pulpit to unite us. Because we have far more in common than we have apart. Back in 1991, a black Harvard sociologist, I don't know any sociologist who's a conservative, do you? A black Harvard sociologist named Orlando Patterson said this, 1991. America, despite its flaws, is the least racist majority society in the world, provides more opportunities than any other country in the world, including all of those of Africa. That was before Obama got elected, let alone reelected. My final thought. In the mid-60s, Martin Luther King gave an interview to British television. This is 2 years after the Civil Rights Bill was passed. And he said, the changes in America have surprised me to the point where I believe in about 40 years' time or less, there could be a black president. Almost on cue, there was a black president. He didn't say black CEO of a Fortune 500 company. We've had those. He didn't say a black governor of one of the original states of the Confederacy. We've had that. He didn't say there'd be black senators. He didn't say 10% of Congress would be black. He didn't say there'd be a black president of an Ivy League university, which has happened. He said there would be a black president, meaning once that happens, it's done. It's done. We're here. We can now start dealing with people based on content of character, not color of skin. Instead, Democrats have doubled down and doubled down and doubled down on things like critical race theory and reparations, which is the extraction of money from people who were never slave owners to be given to people who were never slaves. Thank you.